Hi, I'm Jessica Buffkin with Marriage Roots. I'm one of the editors here on the team. Usually you'll find me over at Single Roots, but today I'm interviewing Kathy Nelson. Kathy wrote one of our posts, an open letter to young couples in their 20s and 30s, and today we're just spending a little bit of time talking to her, getting a little bit more feedback on her post. And Kathy, we're just glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
One of the things I noticed about your post, it's different than a lot of open letters that we see on the internet. A lot of times we'll see things that are lists or husbands, kiss your wives before you leave the house, or wives invest in lingerie, and they're fun, and a lot of times people share them. But this one, it was a meatier post. It had things like love Jesus the most, and that's something that is hugely important to relationships, but a lot of times gets lost in the chaos of living. So how do couples keep their focus on Christ as the most important thing and not lesser things when things just get really busy?
It does. It gets very busy, but it is so crucial that you keep your relationship with Jesus Christ tantamount to every other relationship. Not only is that biblically sound, because the word teaches us that our relationship with Christ should cause all the other ones to pale, and even says you can't be my disciple if you don't love me more than anyone else. And so what the benefit of that is, if you are loving him more, you want to obey him, and your obedience to the Father and his commands, it impacts all those relationships. So you love Jesus more, your husband gets loved more, your wife gets loved more, because it's in obedience to what his commands were for us to begin with.
Along the same lines, you also mentioned scripture memory. And again, something else that is hugely important to a walk with Christ, hugely important to a relationship to dwell in those truths. But at the same time, when life gets chaotic, when kids come along, when everyone's busy, that can often get pushed aside. So how do you keep that also as a prominent thing in your relationship?
Yeah, it's a discipline. You have to make time for scripture memory. The Bible teaches us that if we hide his word in our heart, that then we won't sin. So that's clearly going to free up a lot of destructive behavior in the family. It impacts how you spend your money, what you spend your money on, how you parent, how you love each other. All that, there are scriptures that speak to that directly. And so it enables you to love well and to be a good spouse because you have it memorized. And as those issues come up, you've got it. You're on top of it in how to respond or even how to be proactive. So it's huge in our ability to have a lifetime marriage.
And one last question. One of the other things you bring up is about serving together. And you actually touch on the idea that what if you and your spouse don't have the same talents, don't have the same interests, but you say it's important to serve together anyway. So how do you find those places when you and your spouse have really not a lot in common? You're the true opposites attract. How do you find places to serve together?
I think serving together is huge. Once again, it is biblically mandated that we go into all the world. I think couples can disciple and mentor other younger couples or young adults. They may be in college, they may be in high school. You do that together. But missions is such a powerful element in a marriage. And I think one of the main reasons, other than being obedient to the scripture, is it gives you perspective. It causes the issues of our first world love and first world life to kind of fall in line under the missional purpose and the missional viewpoint of, those children don't eat on the weekends. How can we help together to see that they have food? Look, they're living in cardboard boxes. All of a sudden, remodeling my bathroom or going on that vacation, or it should kind of pale once again. So I think missional living together can look many different ways as there are gifts, but it also helps you keep perspective on the issues that you're dealing with in your own marriage.
Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We hope to hear more from you in the future. You've already written for us another time as well about communicating with your spouse. So thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, and I love marriageroots.com.
Hey, thanks. See you later.